What is up, YouTube? Drifters Premium Collectibles here, and we are at the halfway point of the year. So I thought I'd give a collection update and show you all what I've gotten, throughout the year, and show you the rest of my collection as well. And I wanted to say, my collection definitely has gotten a lot smaller. I've sold a lot of stuff, but it was in order to get other stuff. And the market has really gone down quite a bit. We've all seen it. I was able to sell off some things to get better things. So this is just, a video highlighting my collection and everything I have. So this video is only Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna do a Final Fantasy one as well, because I also collect the Final Fantasy TCG. And yeah, let's get started. So first card we have here is Red Eyes Black Dragon from the Pharaoh Tin of the Gods. The Secret Rare First Edition PSA 10. Beautiful card, very nice. It really dropped in price. I think these were going for like $150, and now they're about like 50, 60 bucks, I want to say. So yeah, beautiful card. I love this artwork of Red Eyes. I'm all for it. It's just really, really nice. And I'll try to give prices, like accurate prices, or at least what I think they're worth now. But I don't really look into market for cards I already have, unless I'm trying to sell them. But yeah, I want to say this card is about 50 bucks. So next card we have here is Dark Magician from Maximum Gold. These really dropped in price. They were like 200 bucks at one point, and now I think they're like less than 100 bucks or something like that. So yeah, they're not worth a lot at all. You can get them cheap. I like Maximum Gold a lot. I did a video about it, that Maximum Gold is the first set, that you can get all three anime artworks of the big three, in first edition. People say there's LOB, but LOB, has alternate artworks. So this is like the first set that has the anime artworks in the big three. So I'm a big fan of Maximum Gold just for that. It's a beautiful set, and I love the rarity. It's really nice. So Dark Magician, they go for about 80 to 100 bucks now, something like that. So next card we have is Maximum Gold Blue Eyes White Dragon. Another very nice card. Same thing with the Dark Magician, it's just in the original artwork, just a really nice blue eyes and a cool rarity. I think these go for like 150, 200 bucks or something like that. Of course, to finish off the trio, we got Red Eyes Black Dragon right here. And this has always been the cheapest of the three. And even though Red Eyes is probably my favorite, I like Red Eyes out of the three. And it's a sick artwork. I've always loved it, but I'm not gonna lie, Red Eyes is like 50 bucks. So next card we have is the Claw of Hermos from Dragons of Legend 2. I graded this myself. It's not a very desirable card. It's not that rare. Dragons of Legend 2, I think, not guaranteed, but you were likely to pull one per box. And it's a beautiful card. Just the significance in the anime. This was Joey's God card per se, and this Legendary Dragons arc was really awesome. I liked it a lot, and it's a very slept-on season. Not a lot of people enjoy it, but I did. Joey's my guy, and Claw Hermos. It's awesome. Very awesome card. It's a very, very low pop because not a lot of people think to grade it, but this is its original release and its original rarity, so I'd say this is maybe like a $50 card as well, nothing too expensive. Next we got the Fang of Critias, also from Dragons of Legend 2, first edition. This is its initial printing in the TCG as well. Beautiful secret rare, gorgeous card, and yeah, this is a low pop as well, but not a lot of people think to grade it. I just grade it because it was Kaiba's card in the anime. He had Critias, and I just really love Season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I got these cards graded. But again, this is probably maybe like $50 to $60 card as well. Next we have the Eye of Timaeus from Dragons of Legend First Edition. This is also the initial print of Tamias, and I'm sure this card lost a lot of value because of the crappy Ghost from the Past reprint, you know, easier to access, all that good stuff. But this is the first printing of Tamias. I graded this guy myself. I bought like an SGC 9.5 or 10 on PWCC for like 30-40 bucks. I won it on auction, and I cracked it, and then I sent it to PSA and it got a 10. So yeah, if y'all don't have confidence in SGC, yeah, I cracked an SGC slab, got the PSA 10. But anyways, yeah, gorgeous card. This guy was worth a lot, but I'd say he's around the $200 range now. I remember they were going as high as $400 or $500 at one point, but yeah, everything's just coming down. So I have Tamias, beautiful card. Yugi's Dragon of the Legendary Dragons, just amazing to have. I'm glad I have that trio, pulling them back out, but I'm glad I have this trio. They're just so gorgeous, so amazing. Very happy with those 3 cards. So next we have Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast from Legendary Collection Yugi's World in 1st edition. As far as I remember, this card was like a pop 2 or 3 or something like that. So I showed it off on Instagram, and a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, that's such a nostalgic card. So maybe I give people ideas, you know, to send them in for grading, or you never know. I know there's very niche collectors that love to collect, you know, the Legendary Collection stuff. So there might be somebody hunting PSA 10s in Yugi's World in 1st ed. So I'm pretty sure if I check now, the pop is probably higher. But as far as I remember, it was a pop 2 or 3, and it's just gorgeous if you see that holo. Really nice card. Oh, and as far as value, it's a cheap card as well. You know, you can get a raw card for like $3-4 bucks, something like that. So maybe like, I'd say 50 bucks as well in a PSA 10. Next we have Slate Warrior from World Championship Tournament 2004. I love Slate Warrior. He was in my deck in Duelist of the Roses, and he was just an OP card. 4-star 1900 attack beater, really nice. I love the artwork. This guy is just so cool looking, and I remember wanting him as a kid and seeing people have him, and I just didn't know where to get him. I didn't know it was a part of a video game. I didn't have that kind of knowledge back then. And yeah, Slate Warrior is an amazing card. Beautiful, beautiful card. Happy to have that one. And I'd say they're maybe like around the $100 ranges as well. Not a very expensive card. So moving forward, we have Zoa. We have Zoa, or Metal Zoa, sorry. Metal Zoa from the Falsebound Kingdom. Real pretty card. These dropped a lot in price as well. I actually got Metal Zoa and Zoa in a trade a long time ago. I traded it for like a PSA 8 or 9 Buster Blader from PSV in 1st edition. So it was a good trade for me. I was really happy to have these cards. They've never been worth a lot. But I'm very happy to have them. I think it has a little crack right here. I don't know if that's this rubber case or something like that, but yeah. These are maybe about $100 as well, maybe a little less. They're not worth a lot, but man, Bandit Keith had the coolest looking cards. I swear, Bandit Keith had really nice cards. But yeah, around $80-100. Next we have Zoa. Also from the Falsebound Kingdom for GameCube. And I really love this artwork. Like I said, Bandit Keith always had the best cards. They're just so gorgeous. And video game promo, awesome card stock, but very easy to grade though. So there's a lot of these out there. And yeah, it's a gorgeous card, and very happy to have one in my collection. And I'd say they're around the $75 to $100 range as well. Next we have Dark Magician from PCY, Yugi the Destiny, in a PSA 10. This card really dropped. During the hype, DDS was really up there, and and for a lot of people it was out of reach. So these promos picked up a lot of steam because DDS cost so much. You know, I remember this card went as high as like $600 or $700, and the Blue Eyes went for a ton too. And yeah, but now these have really sunk to the bottom, and you can get a PCY Dark Magician for like $100, maybe less. So I'm happy to have it in my collection. It's a beautiful card. Just a prismatic secret rare Dark Magician, you can't go wrong. So next we have PCK, Blue Eyes White Dragon. I absolutely hate the tablet art. It's disgusting. I prefer SDK art all day, every day. But the prismatic secret rare on this really makes up for it. It's a video game promo Blue Eyes, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I really enjoy this card, even though I really don't like the artwork, but just the rarity makes up for it. And these, I haven't seen one of these sell for a long time, I'm sorry. And I haven't really bothered checking. You know, I don't check if I already have it, you know, because I'm not hunting it, you know. But I'd say these are like maybe like $300 or $400 out of the top of my head if I'm guessing. Maybe less, I'm not too sure. But they're definitely not as much as they used to be. I remember during 2020, this was like a $1,500 card. So next we have Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. And man, oh man, this card sunk hard. Actually, the Sacred Cards promos just dropped tremendously. And that's because there was just a surplus of games on the market. You know, you were seeing those games go very cheap. And it was just a matter of time before the promos dropped as well. Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth has never been expensive because there's always been a surplus of the game on the market. You know, so I think at most it was like a $300 card, but now you can get this in a PSA 10 for like $70 or $80. So next we have Two-Headed King Rex from Legendary Collection Yugi's World in first edition in a PSA 10. Again, this card isn't worth a lot. You can get a near mint copy for like $10, and I got it just because Rex Raptor, he's cool, had awesome cards. I wanted this in a 10, and I have it in a 10, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm very happy with that card, but again, it's a very cheap card, probably not worth more than $50, $60 in a PSA 10. So next we have Fairy King Truesdale from World Championship 2004. Probably one of my least favorite promos. Not a lot of people like him, but the people that do like him like absolutely love this card. It gives me like Link, Legend of Zelda vibes, you know? He looks like Link, really. Link wearing some leaf armor or something like that with a wand. But yeah, that's why I guess I kind of like this card, because it reminds me of Link, but not worth a lot. Like another promo that's like $75, $100 in that range. So next we have Alpha, the Magnet Warrior, Beta, the Magnet Warrior, and Gamma, the Magnet Warrior. So the Magnet Warrior trio at one point during the hype, the pandemic, was going for about like $500-$600 a piece, which today sounds ridiculous because they may be worth like $100-$150 a piece. I know some pieces, I think Alpha goes for the most because he's a lower pop. That it all depends on pop and you know what's available, but they're around $100-$150, maybe less than $100, just depending on which one you're getting. But yeah, they definitely sunk a lot. I remember the set was selling for quite a bit, and yeah, it's just definitely sunk a lot. So the Magnet Warriors are about $100-$150 each, somewhere in there. Next we have BPT Jinzo, 2003 BPT Jinzo. I love this card. Jinzo's one of my favorite monsters ever. This card is great for people who can't afford the Pharaoh Servant first edition copy. because it's the exact same rarity. Came out just a year later, so it's still old and nostalgic. And just a sweet promo, you know, it definitely helped a lot of players out because it gave them access to Jinzo because he was so hard to pull because he was a secret rare. And yeah, Jinzo is just a great card, groundbreaking for the game, and I'm glad that Konami had the sense to make it available for players to use because at one point it was a money wall. You know, you had to buy a bunch of packs, take chance, spend money to buy, and hopefully pull Jinzo. But in 2003, you pay 20 bucks, get a Jinzo tin. You got a guaranteed Jinzo, so that really helped out the game and the player base. But yeah, these, I'm not too sure. They're maybe in the $300-400 range, maybe less. But I'd say at least 300 bucks. At least 300 bucks. So really nice card, beautiful. I enjoy Jinzo a lot. One of my favorite cards. So next we have Buster Blader from 2003 tins. Buster Blader is an amazing card. I genuinely did not want this card to be a tin promo. I really thought Time Wizard should have been a tin promo. Or actually, maybe not. Maybe this card was okay. Gearfried was the one that was kind of like, why is that a promo? Like, you could have had something better. But Buster Blader is a really nice card. This promo tanked as well. Not a lot of people want this promo because there's the first edition from PSV. And it's just not one that people want anymore. So yeah, it's a gorgeous card, but maybe like 200 or 300 bucks. You know, it's definitely not on a lot of people's radars because they want the first edition PSV one. Next we have Rocket Warrior from the 2005 tins. The 2005 tins are some of my favorite just because, you know, all the promos were bangers, maybe except Xerion Universe or something like that. But Rocket Warrior is a Joey card. Joey's my favorite character from the anime, and that is just gorgeous, beautiful card. Very happy to have that. But again, this is a cheaper promo too. I think max like 200 bucks, but I'd say more in the 150 range now. But I'm just glad these cards are getting affordable for everybody, you know, who wants them. So yeah, beautiful card. I love Rocket Warrior. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Very nice card. Next, we have Panther Warrior from the 2005 tins as well. Another awesome Joey card. Panther Warrior is a very, very shitty card. Yeah, like it's absolutely useless. 4 stars, but you have to tribute to attack. Like, I guess, you know, if you do like a scapegoat token kind of thing, but not really worth it. But people, I remember they would use him as like a wall, like summon him and he's a 2000 attack wall, like you know, and just not attack. But Panther Warrior is very similar to Rocket Warrior, maybe like 200-ish bucks, 150 bucks around there. So next we have Insect Queen from 2004 tins, and people go after the misprint 2004 tins, you know, with the super rare foil instead of the secret rare. But I personally, I think that the secret rare looks nicer because that's what a tin promo is. They're all secret rares, and it just looks a lot nicer, more presentable. But some people go after the misprint because there's less of them, and I respect that. But I prefer the secret rare in these promos. So I actually got her for like 130 like last year. So she's maybe like 100 bucks or less now. Next, we have Dark Magician from Yugi's Legendary Dex Battle City. This card went for a lot during the hype. I remember there was a sale of 1,500 for a guy that bought that, because now it's like maybe like 150, 200 bucks. And it's getting reprinted in some 25th anniversary crap in November or something like that. So yeah, this is not worth a lot now, but it's just, iconic because of the anime and all that good stuff, but you know, it's the first printing of the Arcana Dark Magician in the TCG, so I'm very happy to have that card. But again, like 150, maybe 200 bucks. Next, we have Dark Magician Girl from Rise of Destiny Special Edition. This is the second printing of Dark Magician Girl in the TCG, and yeah, it's the Magician's Force artwork, which I really appreciate, but right now I cannot afford a Magician's Force First Ed PSA 10 Dark Magician Girl, so this is gonna have to do for a good while, and she's not worth a lot at all, maybe like 150, 200 bucks as well. But yeah, this is a great old nostalgic Dark Magician Girl for people who can't afford MFC, and unfortunately I dropped her and she has a little crack right here where my thumb is, but it'll be okay. Really nice card, very happy to have her. So next we have Starter Deck Yugi Reloaded, the Ultimate Rare First Edition Dark Magician. These at one point were going for like $300-400. They were never too expensive, but I'd imagine these are like around the $150 range now. Not worth too much. They're lowish pop, I think, though. I think they're all like less than 30, like this one and the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So, but very nice card. Happy to have it. Yeah, it's a beautiful card. So, yeah, they're about 150 bucks. And I think next is a Blue Eyes right here, and the Blue Eyes isn't worth that much either. Maybe like 200 or 300 bucks. Blue Eyes is always going to be more than Dark Magician just because of the fan base. So yeah, it's a beautiful card. Like I said, $200-300 somewhere in there. Next we got Copycat from Shonen Jump magazine. I didn't even know this card existed until the hype began, and I was watching the anime and I really wanted a Copycat, and I was like, man, where do I get Copycat? And I looked it up, and Retro Pack Copycat is just absolutely ridiculously rare, and it's expensive. So I was like, I can't do that. And then I found out about this, and then I looked at the pop on this, and it was little to none. So I think maybe now it's still less than 20, but there was this guy on Instagram that was selling the promo packs of the Shonen Jump magazine, and I pulled the Copycat out of it. I sent it to get graded, and it got a 10. And but even then, with the low pop and all that stuff, it's still not very desirable because people want that Retro Pack Copycat, and which, I mean, it deserves the respect. You know, Retro Pack's really rare, all that good stuff. So I've seen this Copycat in particular, this Shonen Jump magazine one, sell for 600 bucks, but that was like over a year ago. So if I were to honestly price one, I would say it's in the $200 to $300 range. But it's still a beautiful card. I'm very happy to have it. And it's gonna have to do because I just can't afford Retro Pack 1. So very nice. Next we have Red Eyes Black Dragon from Starter Deck Joey. And boy, oh boy, did this card crash in price. It was going for around $1,500 to $2,000 at one point, which is really weird because you were always able to get the decks for like 500 or less. And people were theorizing that PSA just like hated this card. You know, they just decided to like pop control it and just not give that many 10s, and that's why the price was so high on the 10 and the deck was lower. But then like soon there was a bit more 10s, and then the price kind of like tanked. Honestly, I would say this is about a $500 card. So yeah, Red Eyes Black Dragon First Ed PSA 10 from Starter Deck Joey. Very nice. Next, we have Harpy's Pet Dragon from Forbidden Memories. And this is a really nostalgic promo. It is a gorgeous card, and I'm very happy to have it, but unfortunately it tanked in price. Like everything else, Forbidden Memories promos also tanked in price, and Man, oh man, I'm not gonna disclose names, but in 2020, I know of somebody who paid $2,600 for this card. And with all due respect, you know, nobody knew that the market was gonna crash the way it did. But yeah, I know somebody who spent a lot on this, and yeah, it just kind of dropped. It kind of dropped, and to be fair, the Red Eyes was going for more. Like the Red Eyes was going for like $3,500 in 2020. But yeah, this card is maybe like 300 bucks now. 300, 250, 300 bucks around there. But I got mine for around that range, so I'm very happy I waited. And either way, I didn't have that kind of money in 2020. Not a lot of people did. I was a 9 collector in 2020, to be honest. I couldn't afford 10s, no shame. But yeah, this is maybe like a $250, $300 card. So next we have Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon from Forbidden Memories. And this is one of my favorite cards ever. Look at this card. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm just so in love with this artwork. It was just the badass looking Red Eyes with his badass metal armor. And I mean, everybody loved that duel between Joey and Bandit Keith. Like Joey just really took it to Bandit Keith. And yeah, this card is just so legendary. It is awesome. One point, like I said, he was a $3,500 card, and then for a while he was sticking around, you know, $1,100, $1,200. Now I would say this is honestly a $500, $600 card. It definitely dropped a lot in price, but very happy to own this card. It is absolutely gorgeous. Next we have Magician of Black Chaos from Premium Pack. This card is so tough to grade. I mean, if you open a box of Premium Pack, you're pretty much guaranteed to get like 4 to 6 of these, more or less. And the ones that are really rare from that are Zera the Man, Javelin Beetle, Legacy of Yata-Garasu, Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, and Metamorph, and a couple others. But this card, you're pretty much guaranteed to pull it if you open a box. But even then, the set had print lines, weak corners, scratching, waxing, and there were so many flaws with the set. I must have sent about 12 of these Magicians in. I've opened 3 boxes of Premium Pack over the years, and this is the only one to get a 10. And it was honestly the cleanest one of the bunch, and I'm glad it got the 10. It deserved the 10. Yeah, just a beautiful, amazing card. Unfortunately, the market doesn't care if it's hard to grade or not. That's why I won't sell it, because man, it was such a pain in the ass to grade. And what it's going for like 400 bucks right now. So like, that's not worth it to me for as much of a pain in the ass this was to grade, for all the defects on this card. But people just don't care and don't appreciate Premium Pack. Even though this card was the card that defeated Maximilian Pegasus in Duelist Kingdom, you'd figure it would be worth a ton, right? Because of just how iconic it is. But no, it's not. It's not. So next we have Serpent Knight Dragon from Magic Ruler First Edition, the most underappreciated secret rare of the OG era, in my opinion. People might say like Invader of Darkness or like Judgment of Anubis, but those are just simply secrets that nobody cares about in general. This card is just so awesome, so cool looking, but because it was in the same set with Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, people were like, who cares about this card? But the lore behind it in the anime, it was a prize card. Rex Raptor said himself, you had to qualify in the Intercontinental Championships to something like that to get this card. So there's lore behind it. It was a prize card. And yeah, just an absolutely beautiful card. Not worth that much now, maybe like $300-400 bucks around there. Next we have Buster Blader, First Edition PSA 10 from PSV. This card is maybe like $700, and I'm very happy to have it. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it deserves more love than what it gets. Very slept on. I mean, this card is what Yugi used to slay Slifer in Battle City, but yeah, it's not nearly as appreciated as it should. But yeah, and they're about $600-700, so they're holding decently well. Next we have Scapegoat from Starter Deck Joey, and this card is just, you know, it's the super rare in Starter Deck Joey. He used it a lot in Battle City, and yeah, it's worth maybe about $150 more or less. Next we have the Fiend Mega Cyber from Pharaoh's Servant. Very underrated ultra rare. It looks so badass. He looks so cool, but doesn't get a lot of love from people. He's a precursor to Cyber Dragon from his effect, and just a very playable card back then. And I thought he looked super cool, and I never pulled one of him, and always wanted him, but I'm glad I have him now when it matters later on in life. But yeah, beautiful card, but he's maybe like $200-300 around there. So next we got Cosmo Queen from McDonald's pack. I am looking for a Millennium Shield to match my Cosmo Queen, so if y'all have one, let me know. But yeah, this has a slight fade to her, or like a miscoloring, something like that. But she's about $300-400, 400 at most, I'd say, maybe around the 300-ish mark. But she is gorgeous, gorgeous card. 2002, very nostalgic from those McDonald's packs. Very happy to have her. Next we have Metalmorph from Forbidden Memories. Like the other Forbidden Memories cards, it also dropped a lot in price. I don't know, like 100, 150 around there. So next we have Negate Attack. Like I said, the sacred card stuff really sunk. Really sunk. This is like $50 at most, and nostalgic card. So next we have Ryoku, which is in the same boat as Negate Attack, one of the sacred cards promos. Again, really struggling with value, those promos. $50 as well, more or less. Next we have Spellbinding Circle, the card that seals Exodia. Spellbinding Circle is on the Exodia art, which is really cool. But yeah, for a while this was the most expensive ultra rare in Magic Ruler. It might still be. These I believe are going for $500 or $600 around there. And just absolutely gorgeous card. I graded this one myself. It was a PSA 7, and I was like, nah, like this is not a PSA 7. This is stupid. Let me crack it and resend it. And so I did, and it got the 10. So, and we are in the final stretch. We have maybe about 10 cards left. We got Gearfried the Iron Knight from Pharaoh's Servant, first edition, PSA 10. This card is beautiful. Wasn't a very good card when it came out, but it was an 1800 beater, which helped in a lot of people's decks, but the effect was kind of like meh, but now it is appreciated a lot more. But yeah, this card is maybe like $100-150. Next we have Grave Robber, first edition PSA 10 from PSV. And one of my favorite Joey cards. Just look at his little mischievous grin, like he's up to no good. He used this to screw over Bandit Keith pretty bad. Yeah, it's like $100-150, something like that. Maybe less than $100. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into the value of Grave Robber in a long time. Next we got Beast of Talwar from Pharaoh's Servant, first edition, PSA 10. And this is pretty much like the same thing as the Fiend Mega Cyber, maybe like $200-300. It is an ultra rare, a really nice ultra rare, a very underappreciated ultra rare, but it didn't make sense that this came out because Summon Skull came out 2 sets before, and Summon Skull is better. This is 1 Tribute 2400, and Summon Skull was 1 Tribute 2500, so It's like, why run one of these when you can run a Summon Skull? Next, we have Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. This is from the movie pack, and this is super nostalgic. I've pulled them from the movie packs, but all the ones I graded never got a 10. So I had to go out and buy my 10. This was always a cheap card. Like, this is one card that never went up from the pandemic. Like, this was always $200 or less. Even back then, well, back then it was maybe like 50, 100 bucks, somewhere in there, but it didn't get a significant rise like everything else, which is really weird because it's from a promo pack that came from a movie, and there's not a lot of them out there. So it just never gained value, and I think it's because Retro Pack 2, and I don't blame people. Retro Pack 2 Blue Eyes Shining Dragon is magnificent. Chef's kiss. It is just gorgeous, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. It's a beautiful card, but this one never really got love. So yeah, they're around 100 bucks now, maybe less. So next we got Relinquished from Starter Deck Pegasus, and this card never really got love either, and I think it's because people wanted Magic Ruler Relinquished. And yeah, Starter Deck Pegasus never just really exploded either. This is about 150 bucks, to be honest, if I'm being quite honest. Yeah. Next, we have Catapult Turtle from Metal Raiders. Classic Yugi card. A lot of people enjoy this card. Metal Raiders is my favorite set ever, followed by Pharaoh's Servant. They're very, very close to each other for me. But Metal Raiders just has a special place in my heart. I remember my grandma taking me to Hastings. If y'all remember Hastings, it was like this. It was Barnes & Noble before Barnes & Noble was Barnes & Noble. And it was just awesome. It was like a Blockbuster with a Barnes & Noble, with a Starbucks, with a Hollywood movie rental, like all in one. And it was just this incredible, incredible place. And I'd buy my Yu-Gi-Oh packs there. And I never pulled a Catapult Turtle, but look at this holo. It is gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful card. And yeah, it's maybe like 150, 200 bucks as well. Next we got Dark Magician from Starter Deck Yugi Evolution. This card is criminally underappreciated. It is a first edition Dark Magician from a Starter Deck Yugi, just the Evolution one. You know, but those decks never received a lot of love, and I mean, that's okay. Some people enjoy them, some people don't, but I really appreciate this card. But if I'm being quite honest, it's not worth a lot. It's not worth a lot. Maybe like 100, 200 bucks, somewhere in there. But to the right buyer, they may pay as high as like $300 or $400, but that's pushing it. So next, we got Harpy Lady Sisters from Metal Raiders. Super iconic, super nostalgic. This was Mai's go-to monster, and yeah, she doesn't hold a lot of value either, maybe like 200 bucks as well. But first edition Metal Raiders Harpy Lady Sisters, beautiful cards. I'm very happy I own as much as I do. But my collection was a lot bigger. I had to part with a lot of things, you know, to get other things. So beautiful card. I'm very happy to own this. But like I said, maybe like 200 bucks. And we're winding down. We got 7 cards left. We got Red Eyes Black Dragon from BPT and a PSA 10. The BPT 10 cards are so hard to grade because they get waxing in the back and scratches and all that stuff because they're just floating around in the tins. But look at this, man. Red Eyes Black Dragon from the 2002 BPT 10s. This card is a grail for me. This is one of my favorite Red Eyes. This is the best looking Red Eyes in my opinion. LOB, of course, shits on this in terms of value. You know, Red Eyes Black Dragon from LOB is just incredible, you know, in price, you know. But this secret rare is just wow. this is one of the most beautiful cards in Yu-Gi-Oh to me, and it's a personal grail of mine, and I'm very happy to have it. So next we got a Barrel Dragon first edition PSA 10 from Metal Raiders, and this card was, during the hype, it was like a $2,000 card, and then it dropped to like $1,200, and then it dropped to like $1,000, and now it's holding like at $400 or $500, somewhere in there. It's an ultra rare from Metal Raiders, a very classic Bandit Keith card, and it's one that a lot of people enjoy. But Metal Raiders is just so stacked with awesome cards: Mirror Force, Black Skull Dragon, Summon Skull, Solemn Judgment, Change of Heart, that a lot of people forget about Barrel Dragon, and it's kind of underappreciated. Like, if this was like in Feral Servant or something, like this would be like premier top of the line card that a lot of people would be wanting, you know, but it just kind of gets forgotten in that stacked Metal Raiders set. You know, like I said, $400 or $500, somewhere in there. So next we have Thousand Dragon from Metal Raiders first edition PSA 10. This card is like, you know, I know somebody that's trying to sell it for $800 and it's sitting. You know, to me, I value it more than $800. Like, this is so nostalgic, so criminally slept on, you know. But I mean, the market speaks. The market says, you know. But it's probably, if I'm quite honest, it's probably like a $500 card in the PSA 10. I hate to admit that, because look how beautiful this is. Like, it is so gorgeous. But yeah, the market speaks, money talks, and that's probably how much it's worth. But I would never let mine go for that. Like, this is such a gorgeous, nostalgic card. Like, I can't, you know. So I'm happy to have it. It's gonna stay in my collection for a very, very long time. Next we have Gate Guardian First Ed PSA 10 from Metal Raiders. This card is maybe like $1,000, and I love this copy because it has a slight fade to it. And gorgeous card, but if I'm speaking truthfully, maybe like $900 to $1,000, somewhere in there. Next we have Time Wizard first edition PSA 10 from Metal Raiders. I mean, this is as nostalgic as it gets. Time Wizard is arguably one of the most iconic cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Joey used it to get him out of so many situations, and it is just a magnificent card. Beautiful, nostalgic, and it holds decent value. It's maybe like $1,200, $1,300, and I'm very happy to have one in my collection. It just makes me so happy to have it. Next, we have 3 cards left. We have Dark Magician, first edition PSA 10 from Starter Deck Yugi, and this card, we all remember going to Target and buying Starter Decks Kaiba and Starter Deck Yugi, and this card just brings back so many memories. To be fair, when the 2 decks were out, I really wanted Blue Eyes over this card, but I had a Dark Magician as well. And this is Yugi's guy. This is probably the most iconic Dark Magician in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it was in the starter decks that we bought, and the reason why I don't think LOB is the most iconic Dark Magician is because it's just simply not the anime artwork. This is, it's a first printing of the anime artwork, and or it might be DDS, I'm not too sure, but this is it. This is the most iconic Dark Magician in my opinion, and it's very valuable. I think they're holding in the $2,500 to $3,000 range, and it's gorgeous. I'm very happy to have it. This is one of my personal grails, and I will someday, very soon, get a Blue Eyes White Dragon to pair with this guy right here. So next we have a Blue Eyes Toon Dragon from MRL First Edition PSA 10. This card is not worth nearly as much as a Dark Magician. You know, this is maybe about $1,200–1,300 as well. And it is just gorgeous to me. This is such an amazing card. I'm very happy to have it. He's held consistent value for as high of a pop that he is. He's one of the highest pop OG secret rares, and he still holds over $1,000 in value. That's pretty incredible. And I think because of the high pop, I wouldn't say that the future is very bright for this card, because only more are going to get graded, to be honest, as people send in their old collections or people buying mint copies and all that stuff. But it is definitely a beautiful card, and another grail of mine. And my last card, my all-time grail in my collection. This is a first edition PSA 10 Jinzo from Pharaoh's Servant. And this is my grail. This is it. This is a card I wanted most in my collection. I still have goals. I want to get a DDS Blue Eyes. I want to get a starter deck Kaiba Blue Eyes first edition PSA 10. But before that, the goal was to get one of these. And I paid a pretty penny for this, and rightfully so. To get nice things, you gotta pay up, you know. But this Jinzo is it. This is it for me. This is like when I started collecting PSA 10s and started going after, you know, first edition cards because they were more reasonable in price. This is the card I wanted most, and it means the most to me. And I am so happy I have this card. It is just fantastic. Look at that, the way the secret rare shines. It's just magnificent. First edition PSA 10 Jinzo. It's the grail of grails for me, and arguably a top 10 card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just so iconic, and it's so gorgeous. And I want to say that they go for around the $3,000 range. I can see them dropping as low as $2,000. You know, people letting them go for $2,000, but I mean, if it goes less than $2,000, I don't think people would sell. They would just rather keep it because it's just such a gorgeous card. Look at that. Fantastic card. First edition Jinzo PSA 10. My grail of grails. And that concludes all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I have in my collection. And I hope everybody enjoyed the video. My Final Fantasy video will be coming out soon, so I know there's like one or two. I mean, I only have like 50 subs, guys. So like, there's like one or two of you that enjoy the Final Fantasy stuff. So I'm gonna make a separate video from that because I didn't want the interest to be taken away from Yu-Gi-Oh. So I'll do a separate video for that. And that's my entire collection of slabs. I had plenty more. And well, I sold a lot to get some of those nicer cards. So I'm very, very, very happy that you guys joined me today, and make sure to like, subscribe if you want more Yu-Gi-Oh content. I'll try my best, you know. I want to thank everybody for watching, and you all have a wonderful night. Drifters Premium Collectibles out.